أشراف مطلوب وطالبه لله أكرام من يمشي على قدم. العلم نور مبين يستضيء به أهل السعادات والجهال في الظلم.
ها؟ ها؟ الخطاب الشرعي. If I would have said الخطاب الشرعي صحيح. لكن I found that when I wrote خطاب I had to write شرعي as an إضافة. But on the متن it is خطاب الشرع. But because of the alif and lam I had to change it. طيب. What are we studying now? What are we trying to find out? The حكم صح? طيب. خطاب الشرع you understand already. خطاب الشرع is the Quran. Quran and Sunnah. And what else? Ijma' and what else? These are the evidences that are agreed upon. Every madhab agrees on these four. Quran, Sunnah, Ijma' and Quran, Sunnah, Ijma' and Qiyas. Every single madhab agrees upon them. So when you come across the khitab al-shara', the hukum is that which deals with the khitab al-shara'. طيب. This part, المتعلق بأفعال المكلفين, بني آدم. Muhammad, Ali, Yusuf. That is who is intended by أفعال المكلفين, the actions of the mukallafin. Not the what? Not the i'tiqad here. Not the belief of the mukallafin. طيب. طلب. طيب. Talab, what comes under talab? Four things. You're either commanded to do something which is what? Something that is wajib. Or can we say that you're commanded to do something which is a sunnah? Huh? Yes, you are commanded to do something. Are you not commanded to pray qiyamul layl? You're commanded to pay sadaqah. You're commanded to do all types of nawafil. So that itself is a command. Also, you're commanded to what? Ad-talab, you're commanded to stay away from haram. So that itself is what? A talab is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stay away from haram. And this one is what? Makruh. Are we not commanded to stay away from those things that are disliked? For example, clicking your fingers in salah, are we not told to stay away from it? So that is a talab. Talabu taraki. Yes, they differ in how you're told to stay away from it. They differ in how you're told to stay away from it. So for example, this one you have to do. This one you can do. This one you have to stay away from. And this one you have to what? You have to what? Makruh. You should leave off. The sunnah, you should do. The wajib, you need to do. The muharram, the haram, you need to stay away from it. Right. What about takhyir? What comes under this? Al-ibaha. Right. Now that we've obviously defined these, later on when we're talking about, when I sit down and we're studying the ahkam, we don't need to delve into it because we already understand it. Ibaha, what does ibaha mean? There's no connection, there's no command or prohibition connected to it. Lidati, in of itself, lakin. Eating, drinking, traveling. Is there a specific command connected to it? La, do what you want. Mubah. Lakin, that is in of itself. Lakin that ruling can change when something else is connected to it. Is that understood? When something else is connected to it. Mathalan, a person traveling for Hajj. The traveling that person does for Hajj, what does it come under? Wajib, because obviously Hajj is wajib. If there's a conference or a lesson that you're traveling to another place, what is the ruling of that traveling? sunnah. Why? Because you're doing something that is mustahab. Al-wasa'il laha ahkam al-maqasid. Except for one thing that we studied in Manhaj Salikin not too long ago. There's only one mas'ala in fiqh that is not like that. And the Sa'di said it is qara'ib al-ilm, is from the strange things of knowledge. Oath, nah, a vow. To do it is makruh, but when you do it, it is a sunnah. It is rewarded, يعني, or wajib. طيب, al-wada'. What does wada' mean? Alama, it is a sign. It is a sign. So for example now, Salatul Dhuhr is what? You praying Salatul Dhuhr is wajib. Lakin the sun going over to the zawal for the entering of Salatul Dhuhr, is that something that you're commanded with? La. The zakah has what? It has something called nisab, a threshold. If you have that threshold, what is the ruling? Wajib. Sah? You have to pay the zakah. But in order to reach the threshold, is there a command? So let's say the threshold is £1,000, let's say. Is there, if you've got £900, is there a command from the Shari' saying you have to earn another £100 so that zakah becomes wajib upon you? La, that is a sign. That is merely a sign. So it is not connected specifically to the abd. And we're going to see, inshallah, more in the definition. طيب, don't have a marker? Who has tissue? I've got tissue. No, I've got it. طيب, carry on, Abdullah. Hold on. طيب, the Shaykh says, rahimahullah, 2 words. Sahih and fasid. Who can tell me what sahih means and what fasid means? No. Sahih is that which is correct. You pray salah with its conditions, its pillars, its wajibat. Your salah is called what? Sahih. I want to sell my phone to Abdullah. It's my phone, I want to sell it to Abdullah. Abdullah, take the phone, give me the £500, khalas. That transaction is called what? Sahih. That transaction is called bay'un sahihun. Right. What about if I steal another person's phone, and I say, Abdullah, I'll sell this to you now. Buy it for £500. I'll give you a discount, take it for £200. And he gives me £200, he takes the phone. That bay' is called what? Fasid. Literally the opposite. That bay' is called fasid. Why is it called fasid now? What does it mean that is fasid? It means the rule, the ahkam, or the repercussions, or the things that would come about from a correct transaction now no longer come about. So for example, that phone that I've given him, is it his property? No. The money that he's given me, is it my property? La, it is not my property. طيب أقسام الأحكام الشرعية عبد الله. لحظة. This definition is what does it define? What is a definition for what? Al-hukm equals maqtadahu. So that is a hukm. Carry on. Go on. لحظة. طيب, تكليفية أم وضعية؟ Go on. الواجب، المندوب، المحرم، المكروه، المباح. طيب. Okay, hold on. Right, we're not going to go into every single one of them. Lakin, wajib is that action that if you do, you're rewarded. La. That action that you are commanded to do in a way that is binding. That action that you are commanded to do in a way that is binding. You are commanded to do, takes out something which is haram. You're not commanded to do haram. In a way that is binding, it takes out what? The sunnah. Because witr, you're not told to do it in a way that is binding, meaning that if you don't do it, you're sinning. So wajib is something that you must do, or something that you've been commanded to do in a way that is binding. That is the definition of it. Then you can say, what is the fruit of it? The fruit of it is that if you do it, you are rewarded, and if you leave it off, then you are sinning. That is the fruit of it. Is that understood? طيب. Mandub is that which you've been commanded to do, lakin not in a way that it is binding. Qiyamul Layl, you've been commanded to pray, lakin not in a way that that makes it binding. And the effect of that, or the result of that is what? What it necessitates is that if you do it, you'll be rewarded. And if you leave it off, you're not blameworthy. طيب. What about muharram? Who can define muharram in English, what I've just said? What the shari', what Allah Jalla wa Ala prohibits us from in a way that it is binding. Meaning you have to stay away from alcohol, prohibited in a way that is binding. Meaning you have to stay away from it. Understood? طيب. What is the effects of it though? If you leave it off, imtithalan li amrillah, due to doing it for the sake of Allah, you're what? You're rewarded. And if you do it, you're blameworthy, whether you have your intention or not. طيب. Whether you have intention or not, I shouldn't say that, because sometimes a person could do something which is haram, lakin they won't be punished for it. Accidentally they can do it. Makruh, something that is disliked. Something that the shari', that Allah commands us to stay away from, but not in a way that it is binding. So you don't do it. But lakin if you do it, you won't be what? Blameworthy, you won't be sinful. Lakin if you stay away from it, you'll be what? Rewarded. And mubah, the Shaykh, by the way, defines all of these. He gives us definition in the book. Like we've studied the book, inshallah you can go back to the recordings. Like in mubah, the last one is that which a command or a prohibition is not connected to it within of itself, in of itself. There's no command connected to it and no prohibition. So for example, no one's telling you to travel. Safiru ila Abdillah. You won't find a verse or hadith stating that. Lakin, you can get the ruling of it can change when you put it in something else. When you put it into something else, because of another reason. For example, let's say someone goes to an event that is haram in a different city, and he travels to that city for that event. That person is blameworthy. Why? He's blameworthy. Read that out as well. He's blameworthy because of him traveling to that place. So that traveling now goes from mubah to what? To muharram. Goes from mubah to muharram. طيب. These ahkam are called taklifiyya. Okay? These ahkam are taklifiyya. Taklifiyya meaning they are connected to the servant, to the abd. We're mukallafin biha. We're told to do it. And that is connected to us. So for example, salah is wajib. But who has to do the salah? You. Witr is what? Mandub. Lakin who has to do it? Who is it connected to? Connected to you. And the makruh and the muharram, it's you that has to stay away from it or do it, and so on and so forth. So these, number one, are connected to you as the servant. Secondly, they come under your ability. You're able to do them. Sah? You're able to pray, although it's wajib. You're able to stay away from something that is haram. You're able to do something which is what? mandub, and you're able to stay away from it, and you're able to do it. So it's under your qudra, your capability. Is that understood? طيب. Abdullah, read that the wad'iyah. Don't define it, just the sahih. لا, don't define it, just the sahih, shagd, fasid. Fasid. الشغد مانع علة. Sahih we already studied recently. Sahih is that which the effects of it are sound. For example, you do a transaction and that transaction is sahih, meaning the money goes to you, the mal goes to you, and the property goes to the person that you sold it to. Khalas, end of story. And nikah that is sahih, مثلا, they agree. There's rida, they agree. There's wali, the guardian of the woman gives her away. There's the shuhud, there's the witnesses. Khalas. That nikah is called nikahun sahihun. It is a nikah that is sound, that is correct. Is that understood? A nikah that is correct. Salah. A person wants to pray Salatul Dhuhr, they stand, they pray, they put their hands, they do all of the requirements of the salah. Their salah is salatun sahiha. Their salah is sound. Fasid, something which is corrupt. Mathalan, someone wants to get married to a person, there's no wali. Although the wali is alive and present and able to come to the gathering, like the wali is not invited. He doesn't get the invitation card. Right, so you've got the wali that's missing. Then you've got no witnesses, or you've got one witness. Got one witness. And on top of that, the woman's not happy with it. She's not pleased. That nikah dhulumat from fawq dhulumat. Right? That sort of nikah is called what? Fasid. We don't take it into consideration. The sheikh can do 100 different uqood. He can write it on 100 different papers. That is not taken into consideration. Because that is aqdun fasid. طيب. There's another word that is similar to this, which is called batil. Batil is similar to it, apart from hajj. The Hanabila, apart from hajj. So the Hanabila, according to them, the fasid and batil are exactly the same, apart from hajj and nikah. Apart from hajj and nikah, inshallah, somewhere in the future we'll study that. Sabab. The third is a sabab, a reason. Okay, don't get lost. These are called al-ahkam al-wad'iyya. These are called al-ahkam al-taklifiyya. You should be used to my handwriting after inheritance. صح? طيب. Ahkam al-taklifiyya are that we've studied them. Ahkam al-wad'iyya, maybe I should have explained before. Lakin wad'iyya means they are a sign for something. They're not you're not the mukallaf himself, you yourselves, you're not expected to perform these. So no one's going to say to you, do a sahih, or do an act that is fasid, or do something that is a sabab and so on. No one's going to ask you to do it. It is not connected to you. These are signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed, that the sharia has placed. These ahkam al-wad'iyya are signs that the sharia has placed. For example, the sahih. How do you know that if you have a wali and so on and so forth? Who is the one that legislated the wilaya, wali? Who legislated the witnesses? What? The sharia, sah? So they're from the sharia. They're not the actions of the mukallaf. The fasid, kadhalik, something that is corrupt. Allah tells us that if you don't do this, then it is correct. If you don't own something and you sell it, then it is fasid. It is not correct transaction. A sabab, something which is a reason. A sabab is a reason. For example, if a person steals something and it meets the conditions, what happens? What is the ruling? Qata'. So what is the reason or the sabab for the cutting of the hands? Stealing. Stealing is the sabab. Stealing is the sabab. But have you been commanded to come with that sabab, to do that sabab? La. Salah. What dhuhr? When does it become wajib? Ba'da zawal, sah? After zawal. That is a sabab for you praying. Have you been commanded to move the sun and tilt it towards this way a bit? La. None of your business. As soon as it gets to dhuhr, you pray. Like before it does get to dhuhr, it's none of your business. The entering or the sighting of the moon is a reason for what? Fasting the next day. The sighting of the moon is a reason for you fasting the next day. Have we been commanded to make sure that the moon comes out and we sight the moon? Have we been commanded with it? No, we haven't been commanded with it. So that is the meaning behind a sabab, something that is a reason for another thing. A shart, a condition, something which is a condition for something else. Yes, it's your ability to perform wudu, right? Like, who is the one that legislated wudu? Allah Jalla wa Ala. Who is the one that legislated, for example, a person to inherit, they need to meet the certain conditions that are found in the book of Fara'id? Who legislated those conditions? Allah Jalla wa Ala. So these are signs that Allah has placed. Mani', a prevention. A mani' is something that prevents a person from praying. Mathalan, hayd, menses prevents a woman from praying during that time. Sah? طيب. Lakin who told us that it is a hukum wad'i? Who told us that it is a prevention? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it in the hands of any one woman to say, right, today, hayd? Hayd starts, hayd stops. Is it in the hands? No. It is not in the hands of anyone to do the mani'. طيب. What about, give me a mani' in the sharia, something mani'. Jahl, for example. Huh? Yeah. Something which is easier. غضب. Okay, غضب. What do you say? Junoon. طيب. Junoon and غضب. Mani', what is a prevention from someone? We've been commanded that when لا يقضي قاضي وهو غضبان, the qadi, the judge, should not give a ruling. The judge should not give a ruling when he is what? Angry. So anger is a mani', it is something that prevents the ruling. Sah? It's something that prevents the ruling. So it is a mani'. But who legislated that? Allah Jalla wa Ala. Junoon, the Prophet said. Junoon, a person that is crazy. Mani', a person says to his wife, he's crazy. He says he's mentally not well. He says, Anti taliq, taliq, taliq. He says it 20 times. Do we take that into consideration? Why? Because there is something that is called a mani', a prevention, something that prevents that person. Is that understood? And the last one is a illah. A illah. Illah is similar to sabab. But illah is like a reason for something to take place. A reason. For example, when you're traveling, or if it's Ramadan and you decide to travel, you're allowed to do what? You're allowed to break your fast. So the illah, the reason that you're allowed to break your fast is what? Is because of traveling. If you're ill and you can't fast, you're allowed to what? Break your fast. But what is the illah? What is the reason for you being allowed to break your fast? The illness. So these are called ilal. Illah. Say that again. Excuse or reason. More like a reason. More like a reason. And there's a resemblance between sabab and illah. Sabab and illah. In summary, these are called ahkam wad'iyah. Okay? They're not within the capacity of the abd. Yani you're not told to come with these things. These are things that are laid out by the shari', by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. طيب, let's move on. Abdillah, carry on. لحظة, let me try where to go to. النوع حرام معنى. لا, keep going. أحكام الوضعية, keep going. We've studied that. Fasid, keep going past fasid. العلم. To be honest, I thought we'd reach general today, but قدر الله وعام. طيب, the Sheikh is going to now talk about another mabhath. The next one, al-ilm, to know something. Like when you know something, it's not always on the same level, right? Remember we said ilm and dhann. So sometimes you know you're certain of something. Salah is definitely wajib. And sometimes you give a hukum or you find the hukum in the books of fiqh, like in that hukum, that rule is dhanni. You're not 100% sure, but you're about 80% sure, 90% sure. Is that understood? طيب, carry on, Abdillah. Al-ilm means idraku shay, to know something, to comprehend and to understand something. Ala ma huwa alayhi, in exactly how it is. According to how it is. طيب, idrakan jaziman, in a way that you're sure, 100% sure. That you are 100% sure. Someone says to you, what lesson is going, what book is the teacher teaching now? Or what science is the teacher teaching now? What are you going to say? Usul al-fiqh. Is that ilm or not? Are you not sure of that? So it is idraku shay. You've understood that we're studying usul al-fiqh. صح? طيب. Ala ma huwa alayhi. Not only have you said it, like in the reality is that we are studying what? Usul al-fiqh. Idrakan jaziman, can you give testimony and say, Wallahi, we are studying usul al-fiqh. Why? Because you're 100% sure. Is that understood? طيب. Next, Abdullah. لا, leave that, خرج. The next مسألة. طيب. الجهل المركب. لا, الجهل البسيط first. بسيط. الجهل. لا, لحظة. الجهل المركب, صح؟ طيب, the Sheikh is going to mention now, or he mentions in the book that we already studied, like Jahl Basid. Al-Jahl Basid is when someone says, Allahu A'lam, I don't know. What book are you studying? Someone walks in, a minute later we say to him, what book are you guys studying? He says, well, Allahu A'lam, I don't know, I just got here. Sah? He says, Allahu A'lam, I don't know. Jahil Basid, he doesn't know. You say to him, what city did the Prophet ﷺ move to? I don't know. What city did he make hijrah to? I don't know. Jahil, صح? He's ignorant. Lakin it is basid, it's simple. Yani, just doesn't know. Allahu A'lam. Is that understood? Al-Jahl Murakkab, he's ignorant as well. So someone comes in, he sits down, and we say to him, what book are you studying? He goes, Manhaj al-Salikin. He says, what? Manhaj al-Salikin. He's sure. He's what? Jahl, he doesn't know the answer. Not only that, it is murakkab. It is ignorance upon ignorance. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't know. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't know. For example, you say to him, what city did the Prophet ﷺ make hijrah to? Easy. Tabuk. When he answered it, he thinks he knows it, or when he's answering it, he thinks he what? He knows. So he not only does he not know, but he doesn't know that he doesn't know. Is that understood? So that is jahil or jahl murakkab. Dhann. Al-dhann you've studied a lot of times. Adhan means when you're not 100% sure of something, like you're about 60, 70, 80% sure. So let's say you're praying Salat al-Isha now. Salat al-Isha is 4 rak'at. On the third rak'ah, you have a slight doubt. Is this the fourth rak'ah or the third rak'ah? But you're about 70, 80% sure that it is the third rak'ah because recently you just read out the Fatiha and Qul Huwallahu Ahad out loud. Or you remember that you just sat down about a second ago with tashahhud. So now you know you're in your third rak'ah. But you're not 100% sure, like you're inclining more towards the fact that it is your third rak'ah. So you're about 60, 70, 80% sure. That is called adhan. That is called adhan. So for example, if you're doing tawaf around the Kaaba and you realize, or you don't know whether it's the fourth one or the fifth one, but you know that you're not that tired and you know that you came in not long ago, so you're more likely thinking that it is your fourth one. Can you say, well, it is my fourth one? No. Like you can say, I believe it is my fourth one. You're about 60, 80, 90% sure. That is called what? Dhan. Carry on. Waham simply means a mistake. Like it is not a mistake that is done intentionally. You can't really call him jahil. What book are you studying? He says Usul al-Fiqh. What book in Usul al-Fiqh? You say Risala Latifa. He thought that it was a Risala Latifa, another book by Sheikh Sa'di. That's what he thinks. Like obviously he's what? He's mistaken. So wahm is a mistake. Wahim too, I made a mistake. I thought it was that. Ash-shak. Ash-shak is a doubt. A doubt where you have no idea whether it is, مثلا your third rak'ah or your fourth rak'ah. You have a shak. Istiwa'u al-amrayn. You don't know whether it's, you're not leaning towards any side. 50-50. You don't know whether it's your third or your fourth. Khalas. That is a shak, a doubt. So these are the maratib al-ilm. Is there another one? Khalas. These are the maratib al-ilm. Like in maratib al-ilm in terms of what? You know in something. You're either alim bi-shay, you either know it, or you have jahl basid. You just don't know it. Allahu a'lam. When was salam made wajib? Allahu a'lam. Jahl murakkab, when a person doesn't know, he doesn't know. He doesn't know, but he still doesn't know that he doesn't know. When was salam made wajib? It was made in Medina in the last year of the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khata. Adhan, when you think something is as you believe it to be, 60, 70, 80%. Waham, mistake. Shak is when you have a doubt. So that is al-ilm in terms of when you're looking at you understanding something. The next one, Abdillah, towards the end of the chapter. Aqsamul ilm. Aqsamul ilm gone? طيب. From another i'tibar, from another angle. I'tibar means what? From another angle. And it's very important that the student of knowledge understands what i'tibar means from a different angle. Okay? And I've mentioned this quite a few times. Like, and I'll mention it again as an example. Okay? Let's say there's about how many brothers here? Let's say 20 brothers here. Sah? 20 brothers. So I say to these brothers, whoever is wearing a hat, go to that side. Whoever is wearing an imamah, go to that side. And whoever is not wearing anything, go to the end. How many categories am I going to get? 3 categories. So I've defined the students based on بِاعْتِبَارِ مَا عَلَى رَأْسِهِمْ or مَا عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِمْ. I've divided and categorized the students based on what is on their head. Imamah this side, hat that side, no hat, or imamah that side. How many categories did we end up with? That is called i'tibar. What about if we want to look at it from another angle? Students that are married, brothers that are married go to that side. Brothers that are not married go to that side. How many categories are we going to get? 2. Brothers that are on this side and brothers on that side. Right. Those 2, before they were 3, can someone say to me, La, you're lying, Ustad. Recently you divided the students into 3. You said there were 3 types. Why are you saying there are 2 types now? Can someone say that to me now? Why not? Because Because we're looking at it from a different angle, ya akhi. Before we were talking about what they've got on their heads. Now we're talking about a different thing, which is what? Whether they're married or not. Mathalan, I say, let's say there's 40 students here. Male go over there and female go over there. How many categories? And then the non-binary over there. How many categories for normal human beings? We're going to get how many categories? 2 categories. So I've divided the students into 2 categories. 1 category male and 1 category female. Can someone say, lad, the students were 3 types before. Where's the extra type gone? I'm not talking about the non-binary, I'm talking about the hats thing. When we divided the students into 3, can someone say, lad, a few minutes ago you divided them into 3? Can someone say that? No, because we're looking at it from a different angle. Here, we're looking at knowledge from a different angle in terms of how you came to know this knowledge. The first is daruri, something that you're forced to believe in, even if you don't want to believe in it. Let's say none of us have made Umrah in the past. None of us have gone to Hajj or Umrah. Can we turn around and say, listen, Makkah doesn't exist because we've never been there. I haven't seen it. Maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. Because I haven't seen it, I can't be 100% sure. Can I say that? Of course not. Because how did I come to know that Makkah exists? Ilm daruri. We see people going there from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, right from the time of Ibrahim. Like from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, up until that time, people have gone there. These people that are going, where they're going? To no man's land? La, they're going to Makkah. New York, how do you know New York exists? Many of us probably have never seen New York. Inshallah, we'll never see New York. Lakin, how do you know that it exists? How do you know it exists? Can someone say to you, prove to me that it exists? What can I prove to you? It's there. That means ilm daruri, something that you're forced to believe in. That you're forced to believe in. For example, salah is what? Wajib. The fact that salah is wajib for the Muslim, is it ilm daruri or not? Khalas. Is that understood? The second type is ilmun nadari. It is knowledge that requires that you think about something. That you think about something. So I say to you, for example, camel's meat, does it nullify wudu? Can someone say, wallah, khalas, of course, we all know that it does nullify wudu. Can someone say that? No. Unless he's a Hanbali, grown up in Hanbali society. Lakin, that person, no, he can't say that. Why? Because how did we come to know that camel's meat nullifies wudu? By nadar wal istidlal, by using evidences. By using evidences, that's how we know that something is nadari. Because we need evidence, we need to prove, we need to actually look into it. Who can give me an example of nadari? Keep food out of our conversations. Something else. I asked you a question, ya akhi, Allah yahdi. Give me an example of nadari. Wiping over the socks. Wiping over the socks, or the time limit for wiping over the socks. Some say 72 days, some say 24 days. Let's say there's a difference of opinion, whatever. Lakin, in order to know whether it's 3 days or whether it's 2 days and what nullifies the wiping of the wudu, when the time runs out and so on, we actually have to look into the Quran and the Sunnah in order to find that out. Now, when do you become a traveler? Do you become a traveler as soon as you put your suitcase in the car? Or do you become a traveler when you leave your city? Jazakallah khair. That is a mas'ala that is talked about in fiqh. Sisters, who can give me an example of daruri and an example of nadari? When do you put on ihram or when do you start ihram? Na'am. That is which one, nadari or daruri? Does it not require that we think about where we need to put on our ihram? Na'am, it is nadari. Where do we start our niyyah of hajj? Nadari? The nisab of zakat. Nadari, na'am. What is the threshold for zakah? Carry on. Kalam. Kalam. Start kalam. كلام صح؟ Say that again. Maratib al-idrak, the levels of knowing. And daruri nadari is how you come to know. طيب الكلام فضل. اللفظ المفيد ها فقط الكلام. الكلام, now we're talking about what is kalam. Why is kalam talked about? Because obviously طيب الكلام is اللفظ المفيد. Kalam, why are we talking about kalam? Because the Quran and the Sunnah are kalam. طيب kalam is what? اللفظ المفيد, words that are beneficial. اللفظ, something that you utter. What does that exclude? Ishara. You can't, that's not called what? That's not called kalam. That is not called kalam. And the second is what? Mufid, something that benefits someone. Something that can benefit the person that you're speaking to. طيب. So I say to you, if I say to you, إذا جاء الطالب الطويل الذكي. If I say to you, if the talib, the tall talib, that is intelligent, that is strong, if he comes, and I stop. Is that kalam? What about him? You're going to say what? What about him? إذا جاء كذا وكذا. So I need to say أكرمه, honor him. When I say أكرمه, that means I've given you what? A complete statement. For example, I say to you محمد. خلاص, can I stop there? You're going to say what? What about Muhammad? And then I'll say طويل. Muhammad is طويل. So kalam is that. Al-lafz al-mufid is a word that you utter and it's something that is beneficial. I can stop on it and you can say, you can understand a wholesome meaning. Go on. Yeah? Ism. Go on. فعل اسم. That is the word. أقل ما. It consists of two names or an action. نعم. Two names. طيب. This simply means كلام المفيد, something that is beneficial. What is the least? What does it consist of? The least number of words that it can consist of. The Shaykh says رحمه الله اسماني. اسماني. محمد طويل. Muhammad is what? Ism, and Tawilun is what? Is ism, is a name. Or a fi'l and ism. Who can give me an example? أكل. ذهب. قرأ. هذا that's better. أحسن. قرأ محمد. طيب. قرأ محمد. Muhammad read. قرأ محمد. That is a fi'l, that is an action, and that is an ism, that is a name. So it consists of two. طيب. Carry on. خلاص. لحظة. This is more of a nahwa, something that you'd study in nahwa. Lakin, the Shaykh is going to say that in the Arabic language as a whole, words are of what? Three. Al-ism, al-fi'l, and al-harf. طيب. In the Arabic language, right from the first person that spoke Arabic, up until the last person that will speak Arabic, Arabic in general only consists of three. One of every word that you utter in Arabic is either an ism, a fi'l, or a harf. An ism, a name. Muhammad, Jamal, Jabal. These are what? Names. Af'al. Give me af'al. Give me actions. كتب ضرب حصل نام. Actions. When you're speaking Arabic, it's either an action that you say or a name that you say, or a harf. Give me a harf. في, من, على, عن, لام. صح? And you've studied that in a Jumiyya, many of you, or Al-Arabi بين يديك. الاسم, الفعل, and الحرف. طيب? Ism shows you a name of a thing. A name of a thing. Ma'un, or Muhammadun, or Jabalun. Jabal, it points towards a mountain. Has it shown you when an action to do with the time or anything to do with time? No, it's just shown you that is a mountain. Masjid, that is a masjid. Has it given you any more information? La. Lakin a fi'l is something that shows when an action took place. So if I say, ذهب محمد, Muhammad went. When did the going take place? In the past. If I say, يذهب محمد إلى المدرسة, Muhammad goes to the madrasa. It means what? It is happening now. Or, اذهب إلى المدرسة. It means what? Go to the madrasa. It is a command that you're told to do. So in Arabic language, in Arabic, it consists of what? When it comes to actions, ماضي, مضارع, and amr. And I won't go into that because obviously, inshallah, many of you have studied it, and Arabic in general is extremely important. A person cannot understand the Sharia except with Arabic. And some of the mashayikh say that every single Muslim, his first language is Arabic. Regardless of where you're from. You could be from Timbuktu, your first language is what? If you're Muslim, your first language is Arabic. You could be from anywhere. Like as a Muslim, your first language is Arabic, and then your mother tongue is your second language. Harf is a letter. Fi, man, ala, an, lam. Each one of these has a meaning, but not on its own. Fi, what does it mean? Fi, madam. What do you mean fi? Although in Arabic, it's fi. In Arabic, I understand. Like you can't have a meaning on it when it's on its own. Min. Ala, what does ala mean? I know it means on top. What is on top though? Ala mada. Fi mada. Lakin you'll understand the meaning of a harf when you put it into something else. When you put it into another sentence. Muhammadun fil masjid. So now that you've put it into another sentence, you know the meaning of what? Fi. طيب. And each one of prepositions. That's not the best translation, that's the only translation. Prepositions, na'am. Last one, 1 second. The last mas'ala, 1 second. أقسام الكلام from believing and disbelieving in it is what? What was that last thing? خبر. Kalam from another i'tibar, another angle, is split into khabar and insha. Let me just finish this one. Khabar, when you're informing about something, when you're talking about something, and insha, when you're starting something. For example, جاء محمد. Khabar means that I am informing you about something. It could be true and it could be a lie. In of itself. Forget about the person that said it. Like in that khabar, in of itself, it could be true and it could be a lie. So when I say to you now, جاء Muhammad, Muhammad has come back from Hajj, I could be lying, but I could be what? Telling the truth. Is there any way of knowing? You'll only know afterwards, or other things will tell you whether it's true or not. Like in that in of itself, that sentence, جاء محمد خبر. Khabar means that which can be truthful or it can be a lie. It can be true or it can be false. ما يحتمل الخطأ أو الصدق أو الكذب. It can be true or it could be false. Lakin, insha is that which, there's no way it can be a lie. And it can't be truthful. It can't be truth. It can't be the truth. For example, Qum ya Ali. I say to someone, Ali, stand up. Because, wallah, you're lying. Does that make sense? What do you mean I'm lying? I told you to stand up. So someone can't say, wallah, you're lying. Or a person says, Arju an adkhul al-Jannah. I hope to enter into Jannah. Can't say to you, wallah, kadhab anta, you're kadhab. What do you mean I'm a liar? I just want to go into Jannah. I just said I hope to go into Jannah. Is that understood? Or if I say to you, هل دخل Ramadan? Has Ramadan started? Has Ramadan started? Has Ramadan entered? You cannot say to me, أنت كذاب. والله صحيح صادق أنت. Can't say you're telling the truth, mashallah. Why? I haven't said anything for you to say I'm telling the truth or for you I'm lying. Just answer me the question. Say نعم دخل رمضان ولا ما دخل رمضان. Ramadan entered or Ramadan did not enter. Like you can't turn around and say you're lying or you're telling the truth. So that is one of the other things that the Shaykh mentions in the Muqaddimah or when he's talking about kalam. Kalam is of two types. When you're talking about the angle of saying it is truthful or it is not truthful. It is truth or it is false. It is a lie or it is true. So that it is khabar. Who can give me an example of a khabar? I want an example from the brothers and an example from the sisters before we round off. ضرب زيد حامدا. طيب ضرب زيد حامدا. Zayd hit Hamid. He could be lying. I can say to him, لا أنت كذبت ما ضربه. He hit him. صح? But I can say to him, صحيح, والله, you're right, I saw him hitting him. So it is acceptable to being believed and not believed. Sisters, another example of khabar. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. I can say, لا كذبت. It's full of clouds out there. It's cloudy, it's not blue. It's been raining all day. صح? I can say you're lying. Give me an example of insha, إخواني. اكتب صح اكتب right كذاب لا اكتب right. You said to me right. Sisters, give me one example of insha. Stand up. نعم قم. Stand up. That person can either what? Stand up and obey you, or not stand up and disobey you. And then you can say, why have you not obeyed me? Or why have you disobeyed me? Sah? Like you can't say you're telling the truth or you're lying. So that is one taqseem or another angle that the Shaykh talked about. Al-Kalam. Inshallah, we're going to study the rest next week. Allah Ta'ala, ana muhtam. Allah Tawfiq.
وقل رب زدني